Hey, hello. It's a completely unplanned live uh, on Facebook, on YouTube, to show a bit my face as well. Just making sure that you guys are still in the same channel. But just today, I would say the very key thing is nothing about my faces, but just about the key concept that I would like, and also taking this opportunity to show you guys. So that's why nothing is more relevant than seeing about the Google search screen, but not my faces. All right. So just always saying that that would be a wonderful time if I be able to do a Facebook live or a YouTube live by using about English. So this is also one of the reasons so why I just want to make some sudden changes, and also at the same time try to use different channels. So later on, I'm going to explore a bit about the WeChat channel as well. Uh, as you know, this is something that I always embrace, that nothing is more important than keeping on doing one thing. Okay, so that's why time to time I can show my face a bit, but again, it's not the most important things for you guys to realize. Who I am, how does I look like. But the more important things out there is all about the concept that we be able to share in the channel. So, so allow me to shut my camera down again. Um, you know. Yes, as I said, to make something happen, to make something big happen, especially, that is so much important to try doing it continuously. No matter you're busy or no matter you are in a good mood or bad mood, but just keep it on. You just cannot find a wonderful and perfect formula of doing one single things. But everything is progressive. So once you keep it on, then definitely you will be able to discover the best way for yourself. And for myself, I try to study a lot of different concepts. The best way for me to digest the concept is to take the opportunity to share with the others. So somehow I spend some time in social media. So that's why that would be good to spread a certain concept available, not only from my channel but actually is all from the open sources. So today, what we are going to look into. Okay, let me try to type right here. Then you guys can have a better understanding. It's all about the punctuated equilibrium theory. Okay, punctuated equilibrium theory. So, because this term is rather difficult to pronounce all the time, so allow me to just pick the three words from the beginning. Punctuated, that means P, and then equilibrium is E, and theory is T. So PET, okay, PET, pet, okay, pet, okay, to describe about what I would like to talk about. So punctuated equilibrium theory is originally not for anything about business or politics side, but it's highly adopted in a lot of human behavior and also social theory. So let's have a look about the concept in a visual way, then I'm so sure that you will be able to understand better. It's all describing, from the very beginning, it's not only about the human being species, but how every single thing evolve, and then to have a lot of different evolution to transform ourselves into the current form. So that's why when you look into the picture, you see a lot of I guess it's a butterfly. I guess it's a butterfly. It's talking about how the butterfly evolve, itself. And at the same time, maybe I do believe this chart is a rather good one. Uh, it's mentioned that, okay, let me see how I can make it bigger. All right, is something like this, simple, but it's a good enough graph to talk about the whole concept. Um, it's all like this. So from time to time, as I said, I don't mind to show my face, but it's not very important. So you see that from the diagram that I'm showing to you, that here you got the x-axis. It's all about the time from any single moment of time. For example, now, tomorrow, in the future, all the way moving to the right-hand side. And then we also got evolutions, that means changes, in the y-axis. So the whole concept is really like this. When we are in proceeding the changes, okay? So no matter what, there would be a time that we reach the ceiling, or some people will call it as the marginal point that you don't find anything going further. But I think is by theory is going quite interesting that it will comes to an equilibrium point. That means a stable point that there will be no dynamics at all. You don't find it particularly moving up or moving down. You just see that everything is going rather stable, and in another terms, it's called status quo. And after that, here is the point of disruptions that make the change further. So that's why I go back to what I mentioned about when using pet to describe about the human evolutions. I think at the very beginning, let's say for example, we try very hard to start being able to stand by two legs and walk by two legs, but not using both hands and arms. The arms and legs to walk. We are not a monkey, so that's why our hand is no longer to be put on the ground on the floor. So we try very best to have that evolution to evolve. But after evolving for a period of time, and then there would be a status quo that we don't have anything further. But somehow, after maybe a period of time, so we found that okay, there may be a tsunami in the human history, or there may be some any sort of sudden change in the ocean scope, the territory that let us really need to migrate from one area to the other area. So that's why with that drastic disruption, then we develop our legs to be able to run very quickly. All right, then that's why we change to be the person not only being able to stand by two legs, but also be able to run. That is actually how it looks like. Then, but after some while, when we go back to a safe, space, and then it turns to be the status quo again, the equilibrium stage. That is a stable environment that we don't need to have any change. But somehow, by theory, the equilibrium should definitely be there. But after a period of time, a disruption point will also be there. So that's why we experience more and more. And how we are going to apply this into business. So you see that for a lot of organizations, they definitely in a policy perspective, we try to set up some rule, okay, at the very beginning. So that's why you can see this situation is something similar to what we experience in this graph at the very beginning in the left hand part, that we try to progress a lot from having no point, having no rules to having some rules. Okay, uh, but however, when the rule is being formulated in a certain amount, then we found that maybe the current amount will be best fit with our current status, no matter talking about the business size, no matter talking about the workforce size. So that's why we don't impose any new rule further. And by definition, people start to got more used to these. So that's why uh, for a lot of sense, we don't need to have any change. So we don't have new business rule implementation and formulations. Our people are not going to move out from the organization, and then they are trying their best to get used to the current environment, and that becomes to a status quo. That means. Status quo getting a definition for a lot of people that is not very positive, for the sake that it sounds there is no transformative, it sounds not very much progressive. But if we are not using status quo this term, but we are going to use the terms of, let's say, it is a dynamic, okay, which fit the best with the organizational culture, then we don't really found that that is a problem, right? However, even though the internal side doesn't have any change, the external side would have. Everyone experienced COVID-19. We suddenly got nowhere to go, so we need to stay in our own country. If you are the one always do business travel, and then you will experience a year that you don't need to do a lot, right? So that's why by this disruption, okay, it suddenly comes to there and try to evolve everything. So things gonna be more progressive. We start to work on a lot of digitalization. We start to work on a lot of working from home technological hardware and software environment building, and then we build a new communication platform and also about the whole construct. By means of that, after a year time, it's time for us to turn to another equilibrium. That means people are getting more used to it. And after that, maybe we need to wait until another big disruption point to make sure the progressive situation will happen again. So it's rather the right things to see from a lot of cases that we found in the organization. We